They're being harassed by the Justice Department, by the FBI. Nobody's ever seen what's happening right now. And we have a guy, the head of this country. It's probably not him, it's people around him. They have people that are vicious and smart and have horrible ideas for our country. So it's really the people, in my opinion, because I don't think this guy can put together 2 sentences. I watched him last night. He's almost... absolute weapon. And it seems that every time my polls, you know, we're leading by a lot. And we're leading by a lot in a place called Iowa, a lot. And not only with the Republicans, but we're leading against Biden by a tremendous amount. They haven't seen anything like it. And they feel, I guess, they want to try and demean and diminish and frighten people, but they don't frighten us because we're going to make America great again. That's all there is. We're going to make our country. Our country, Sean, is a mess. You know it better than anybody. I mean, frankly, your reporting is incredible.
I'll be honest, I have never been more fearful of the state of this country than I am right now.
Yeah.
Fearful about the economy, foreign policy, our future, our kids, our grandkids. I've never been this way.
When you look at Biden.
As a college student in 2023, I will say times right now are insane. Do you remember, like, when you were growing up, a lot of you, I don't know how old y'all are, but it was something called the American dream. That if you went to college or if you got a career, you get a house, the white picket fence, the nice car, the beautiful family. That was basically almost a promise to you if you worked hard, were a good person, did what you had to do. But in these past 3 years, I want to say, that dream is basically dead. Unless you're making a crap ton of money, or, I don't know, you just hit the lottery or you have people to support you, you're not sustaining your own life just by getting a degree, unless it's like a technology, systems degree, whoever knows. But the average person cannot afford the American dream. And this is something I've personally noticed happening in the past 3 years. I'm not going to say whose cause it is because I don't know. That's why I have y'all for. But it's just something that I've noticed, like, as a college student. I'm like, wow, like, it's getting crazy out here. You got to make 3 times the rent. Average rent is $2,000 a month. So you got to make $6,000 a month. Do the math. That's $72,000 a year just for a 2-bedroom, or in a nice area, a 1-bedroom, loft, condo, whatever. So it is kind of scary right now. I'm not gonna lie. Like, for the average person, it's scary out here.
With these leaders, and they're at the top of their game, and they're looking at each other like they don't even believe what's happening. Our country is no longer respected. Think of it. 3 years ago, energy independent, powerful military that was totally rebuilt. The president announced 3 days ago, which he should never have said, probably classified information, that we have no ammunition. Now, what do you think China says when they hear we have no ammunition? No, it's a very, very sad thing. If you look at the worst border in history, we had the best border in history. We had 3 years ago the best border we've ever had. We built hundreds of miles of wall. We got Mexico free of charge. You know, they say about Mexico. Mexico gave us billions of dollars worth of soldiers for years, 28,000 soldiers guarding our border. We had the best numbers we've ever had. Today we have, I think, the worst numbers in the world, because I don't think there's any country in the world that would stand for what's happening to us, with millions of people flowing in from, by the way, mental institutions, insane asylums. They don't like me using those names, insane asylums. But we have very bad, very sick people, very ill people coming into our country, prisons and jails all over the world. And it's not the 4 countries that we sort of consider neighbors, it's all over. Last week, we had 129 countries representatives of people that came into our country illegally.
I didn't mean to pause it right there, but he basically said we had people coming into our country illegally. And this is crazy because as I go down this journey, I just saw a video, shout out to the officer Tatum, that said it was basically about residents in Chicago getting mad with their city because they built a migrant shelter, and the migrant shelter had people who weren't from there, who were immigrants. I don't know. I think they were illegal immigrants. I don't know all the details. Who were literally destroying their country. I mean, destroying their land, like destroying their neighborhoods. And my thing is, when I see videos like that, you have a city building migrant shelters in this economy, where the average person can't even afford a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom by themselves. They're literally building migrant shelters. Instead of more affordable housing, they're building migrant shelters for people who aren't even citizens. And when I see stuff like that, I'm just like, it's hard to kind of ignore it, because it's just hard to pretend like it's not happening, because it is happening to our citizens. And this is what he's saying. So it's like, it's not even about being a supporter of Trump or whatever, because I don't know nothing about him. I don't know much about politics, to be honest with you. I will say though, when I look at life, I'm like, wow, this stuff is actually happening in my time, and I see it.
And we're losing our country, and we're losing the spirit of our country. But I will tell you, Make America Great Again and MAGA and America First and all of these things that we talk about, there's never been more spirit. Look at this crowd. There's never been more spirit than we have right now. 2024. 2024 is the most important election that we've ever had. And I used to say it with 2016, and I meant it 100%. But we're going into almost a communistic state, and I think maybe we're even there. When you look at what they're doing, you could call it fascist, you could call it Marxist, you could call it communist. What they're doing, like with the Department of Justice, they've totally weaponized it. It's weaponized like we've never had this before. It's not only me. Catholics, you see what's happening? Parents at school boards.
Every video I have to define communism. A political theory derived from Karl Marx, advocating class war and leading to a society in which all property is publicly owned and each person works and is paid according to their abilities and needs. Of course I don't think America is, anyways, I don't think that's true. But I will say that this upcoming election is going to be extremely important. These past few years have just been volatile for the country, just with everything going on. Everything is just going crazy. Like, prices have gone up. Of course, y'all know when everyone was getting sick in 2020, like, it was just a lot. So this past 3 years have been insane. So these next 4 in this election are going to be extremely crucial to, I guess, where America is going, like what's going to happen. Right now, we have a lot of companies who are buying houses, buying up all the land. You have banks who are doing this, buying up all the land. So when I look at communism, in which all property is publicly owned, no, property is not being publicly owned. However, it's being privately owned by mass corporations. So what does this mean? It means that Amazon will own 50,000 houses where you would own none, and they force you to rent forever. So when I see stuff like this happening and rent is going up, home prices are going up, car prices are going up, salaries are staying the same, but everything is going up. It's just like everything's just getting crazy now. So this next coming election, I think it will be very important. Who knows?
They're being harassed by the Justice Department, by the FBI. Nobody's ever seen what's happening right now. And we have a guy, the head of this country. It's probably not him, it's people around him. They have people that are vicious and smart and have horrible ideas for our country. So it's really the people, in my opinion, because I don't think this guy can put together 2 sentences. I watched him last night. He's almost incapable of talking. And, you know, we have...
I'm not sure he knows today's Tuesday, sir.
Well, we have a problem. We have the potential of a war beyond the war with Russia and Ukraine, and that would have never happened before. By the way.
And then you have something called BRICS. The BRICS alignment that's also forming right now, where countries are lining up with each other, I guess to combat, I don't know what they're trying to do, They're lining up with each other, trying to go to a gold standard and move away from I guess the debt standard. So everything is just like, everything is going crazy. When it comes to President Biden, I don't know a lot about his term to even side, if I'm being honest. Like, and I'm not scared to admit it. I don't. Like, I'll take a political compass test, but I don't know a lot about these politicians to be like, oh yeah. What I do know is that one thing I like that Biden did was how he handled student debt. And you're probably like, what do you mean he put a pause on it? The reason I like how he handled it is because for government workers, he made it so, and that's something that I learned, that if you want to get your loans forgiven, if as a government worker, you have to make 120 payments. And you're probably like, well, you took out the loans. But my thing is, I think the student loans are extremely predatory. And that's probably biased because I'm a college student. But I think a lot of student loans are extremely predatory. They are so expensive that it will be literally impossible for the average human to pay it off. And you think I'm lying? What's the average salary in the United States? $54,000, I think it's around $50,000. I'm gonna bump it up to $60,000. What's the average cost per year of tuition? $30,000. Do the math. That's $120,000. The average interest rate is 7%. So if you gotta pay interest first on a $120,000 loan and you only make $60,000 a year, how long is it gonna take you to pay that off? Let's say you make $40,000 a year. Let's say you it's not possible. That's all I'm saying. So this student debt, it crippled an entire generation. And I do think some of it should have been canceled. May disagree, but I don't know a lot about these politicians, so that's what I'm learning.
If I were president, that would have never happened. If I were president, Ukraine and Russia.
I want to get to that. You know, I came here today and I watched the 2 hours with Mark Levin. I watched your hour with Tucker. I watched your hour with Brett Baer. You did 2 hours with me. I watched you on Maria. I watched your interviews, and on fake news CNN. I watched that too.
Well, that was a good one. That was a good one. They had a town hall.
That was a Trump
They
classic.
ended up firing the head of CNN and they got the highest ratings in 11 years, and they fired. It's supposed to be the opposite.
By the way, you might want to start a show, and at the end of every show, say to somebody, "You're fired." That would work, right?
You're fired.
All right, but I wanted to talk about the problems and the solutions. In other words, identify the problems and the solutions.
Okay.
We cannot ignore today's events. Today, when you put out your Truth Social post. And by that, I want to talk about what is clearly now what the Judiciary Committee under Jim Jordan is looking into, whether or not our FBI and our Department of Justice have been weaponized and politicized. And I have two headlines here. You know, FBI tipped off Biden team, Secret Service, about plan to interview Hunter, according to a supervisory agent who retired. Tomorrow, there will be another IRS whistleblower, just like this man, Mr. Chapley, who came out and said, no, he should have been indicted on felony charges, and I've been doing this, meaning Hunter Biden. Then I can take you back, and you know that I covered this every single night, and my show was vindicated on the issue of Trump-Russia collusion that never occurred. The Durham report corroborated it, the Horowitz report. It's a long way of me asking this very simple, basic question. And that is, if you look at Hillary Clinton and the way she was treated, no prosecutor would prosecute, 33,000 subpoenaed emails deleted, devices destroyed. Then her dirty dossier. And that dossier was used to get 4 FISA warrants. And then you look at the FBI in 2019. They had Hunter Biden's laptop in December of 2019. They verified it in March of 2020. And yet FBI agents in the months leading up to that election were meeting with big tech companies, telling them, according to Yoel Roth, the former Twitter integrity site head, telling them that it might be about Joe or Hunter. That laptop story got censored. The American people were denied the truth about what would be a bombshell story.
See, stuff like this, I don't know what to say. Like, I don't know what to say about that. Like, see, stuff like this, like, you don't even know what to say. I don't. Like, what am I supposed I'm not supposed to say that. All I was saying is stuff like this I try not to enter into because it's not really my lane. I am not a politician. I'm a college student. So stuff like this I really have no comment towards, but it's just crazy when you really hear about it. Like, it really does seem like it's like one side going super hard at the next side. It's just craziness in this year. I don't know what's going on, but I'm just a young college student. This got nothing to do with me right now. Maybe about 5 to 10 years it will, but right now this is a little too much for me, bro. So I'm gonna just end this video right here. If you have any suggestions for me, comment down below. It's Jojo, and I'll see y'all next time.